Hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome to Wrestleview Post-Raw number 147. I am Mike Tedesco.
And I'm Victoria Tedesco.
All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. We got the fallout from the Royal Rumble here, which I really do like having these pay-per-views on Saturday, but it just feels like it was so long ago now.
I know.
Why does Sunday feel like such a long day?
But honestly, like the whole day, and I said this to like a lot of my coworkers, I said Saturday felt like Sunday because of the Rumble. Like my days were all confused. And then yesterday, I mean, you had work early, but yesterday I was kind of confused. I was very confused, and I'm like, wait a minute, my mom's not here yet. Oh wait, I have to get up to work. Like I got very nervous for a minute.
Yeah.
But I like it though. I could get used to a pay-per-view on Saturday. Oh wait, what is it called? What's it called? It's not a pay-per-view anymore.
Premium live event.
Live event.
Premium live event.
Sorry, I'm still getting used to it, my friends.
Mr. V is in the chat room tonight. Buenas noches, mi familia. Estoy muy contento contigo.
I have to say, V, Mike's getting better. He's getting real good.
I just said I'm very happy with him. With you. And with everybody. It's a premium live event, a PLE now. Indeed.
PLE.
Indeed. And Mr. V also says, hi, you guys leaving your stockings. That makes me happy to sell my tree up in February.
Oh, yeah.
Ours is up too.
Well, in fairness to us also, our lights on, they never took down our lights yet outside.
Yeah, so we hired a company to put Christmas lights on our house, and like after Christmas, the Christmas season technically ends for us Catholics here on the Feast of the Baptism of the Lord, which I think that was all the way back on like January 9th or something like that. And I was like, okay, well, if they want to take, I called the company. I was like, if you want to take down the lights anytime after January 9th, I'm, that's totally fine with us. Like we don't really care, but we want to be early next year. Well, after January 9th, we've just been getting hit with a couple of, flurries here. And now we had a big snowstorm over the weekend. So they haven't come to take down the lights yet because it's either too icy or it's snowing or it's freaking freezing out. So we're going into February. We're 25 minutes away from February right now. And our Christmas lights are still in the house. Now I could just unplug them and turn them off, but what the heck? I kind of like it. And until the lights are down, we got our stockings up. We have our tree up too, Mr. V. Fine.
Watch they'll come tomorrow.
Yeah, they're gonna come tomorrow. That'd be fine by me. I don't care.
Yeah.
But that means I got to dig out the light up nativity set from the lawn too, and take that down. I don't want to do that. So can't have no Christmas lights in the house and have a nativity set still outside. So, but we probably should consider taking down some of this stuff. It's at some point this week. Because Valentine's Day is coming up, and then we're going to do Christmas in July. We might as well just leave all the stuff up until July and just change the decorations.
I mean, seriously, I've always said I wanted just a tree up all year, and I would just change decorations. But
people do that.
I get outnumbered.
Well, let's say hello to everybody else in the chat room. We got Quentin Walters here, and I tapped on Spanish till I got Duolingo. Now, Mr. V is learning Portuguese now. Portuguese, very nice. BN, my friend. Uncle Billy's in the chat room. We got the Wrestleview Fiend, Mr. Andrew Elder here. We got Grash in the room. We got Nafis is here. Hope y'all been doing well. Yes, we have. I woke up today. I wasn't feeling very good at all, but kind of rallied around the afternoon. I was like really worried that I had the Rona there, and it took I took a at-home test and I was fine. And then I just started feeling better. I don't know. Maybe it was just like, I don't know. Like what do they call that? Like where you just start imagining you have certain things.
I think you're a hypochondriac a little bit.
That's not it. That's not what I was saying. Kit Dyson is here. Hi, Kit. Speaking of the dreaded COVID, we want to send out our best wishes to former Wrestleview staff member Doug Lackey, longtime host of Wrestleview Weekly. He revealed today that he is battling the coronavirus, so we send our best wishes out to Dougie and hope you get better very quickly. He did say that he is double vaxxed and boosted as well, so hopefully everything goes fine with him. Mr. V, I ordered my at-home test, the psychosomatic. Thank you, Brett Farmer. Brett Farmer for the win here. Psychosomatic. That's what I was looking for. I knew it had to do with Psycho, which is what I am as well, but I forgot the other part of that. And what was I? So I ordered the at-home test. Like, it was supposed to like launch like on a Wednesday, and they accidentally, of course, because nothing goes right in the government anymore, they accidentally launched it the day before. So I ordered them then. Still waiting to get them. That's been almost a month now. But I also ordered masks on January 3rd that they just got shipped today. So we're still waiting. We're still waiting here. The only language that Quentin speaks is kicking butt and drinking beer. I like that. Nafis, who had hernia surgery last week. The third day of surgery recovery is the worst. Like, pain is like an amoeba going around the body and poking. Oh God. Yeah.
That does not sound fun.
Yeah, because all the anesthesia is like finally like cleared out of your body. Now you got to do like some real pain management. That's gonna be tough. We're thinking of you, Nafis. We hope you're feeling better.
I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, but successful surgery though, I'm sure, because you're sitting here talking to us. Because thank God for that. So Nafis, we hope you start feeling better pretty soon. And we got, so I said hello to Kit in the chat room as well. Brett Farmer is here. We say hello to him. Grash is here. All right. Andrew Elder says he knows a little Scottish Gaelic. Now, before we get started with this Raw, which was the fallout from the Royal Rumble show this past Saturday. By the way, I want to give a huge shout out to everybody that tuned in and watched the Royal Rumble post show. It actually wound up being, so we did the Royal Rumble post show. It was me, Victoria, Roy Nemmer, and Paul Nemmer. It's actually our third most watched podcast or live review of all time. At 4,800 views. We're pretty happy with that.
I'm shocked.
In second place is WrestleMania Night 1 that we did, you, me, and Roy.
Mm-hmm.
And number one, I'll never forget that night, was when we had about, what was it, like 200 people watching or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
On the SummerSlam review show. So that was pretty cool. So I couldn't believe those numbers when I like woke up to that. I was like, I just could not believe it. So thank you to everybody that tuned in for that. Yeah, these are big numbers. And, and thank you. You guys are always there for us. And, I just get excited. Like when something,
it's
like
a moment to celebrate. Yeah, for sure.
When there's a premium live event that people are curious about, they tune in to listen to us talk about it.
I mean, and listen,
now they know what you're getting. So that's pretty exciting.
I like it.
I like it a lot. Now I do have to, Victoria, this is no question about it. Quentin Walter is totally. I do not think that if it was just me, Paul, and Roy, that it would be even half those numbers. Victoria, looking good in her outfit, did a good job. Making in the viewers here, and also with her sharp analytics here.
Yes.
And like Nafis Sadat says, please smash those like and subscribe buttons right now. We have a bunch of people watching right now. Press the like button. Press it. Do it now. Thank you. Okay. There is some real fallout from Royal Rumble, not just on WWE Raw, but right here in the chat room. Right here in the chat room. I got a message today on Facebook from a very dear friend of ours. And I just got to tell you, Andrew Elder has put you on his list. You are on Andrew's list now.
I'm on Andrew's list?
You were talking some smack about Alicia Fox on the Rumble Post show, and that's Andrew's girl. So you're on the list now.
Oh, I don't care then. No offense.
Wow.
I don't care. I don't care. She is a problem. She's problematic.
Oh my God. Are we going to have like another graveyard
smash? We're going to have to have another, yeah.
We're going to have another graveyard smash with Andrew Elder here.
And
because I know now Andrew is back on your list. I can see it on your face right now.
Oh, for sure. I mean, listen. First of all, she has the same name as me, and she doesn't do good justice to the name.
Yes, Alicia
Her real
Fox's
name is
first
Victoria.
name is Victoria.
And listen, there's only one bitch, and it's me. I have a problem with them calling her a legend. I don't think like how long you've been in the company.
That's one of the biggest sins that I've ever made. Do you remember on we had to go back 146 episodes to the very first show that we did. Do you remember when I called Alicia Fox a legend? Or what did I say? She was like a pioneer or something like that.
Yeah.
I said something stupid.
You said it was stupid.
I said something stupid.
I don't think how long you've been in the company and legend should equate to each other. I don't think longevity by any means should equate. She had like moments of like where she was good, maybe even in most part okay.
Trailblazer. Corey Hal remembers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Trailblazer.
Corey
yeah.
Hal
Corey. Thank you.
remembers.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And hell no. Like, no. She's not. She's not. Just because you worked for the company that long does not make you a legend. Does not make you a legend. Sorry. It's true.
I
And
know
I'll never
they
forget.
really throw around those words like
But you know
so
what,
freely,
though?
don't they?
They do. And you know who agrees with me? Stone Cold. He agrees with me. Do you remember when Cameron was on that competition show?
Oh, you mean her sister, Alicia Fox's sister? Was that? Oh no.
No.
Oh,
Cameron like
from the Funkadactyls?
Yes. Remember when he was like, what's the greatest match of all time? And she goes, Alicia Fox and Melina. And he's like, that's the greatest match of all time
really?
that you've ever freaking watched.
Out of every single match that's ever happened in professional wrestling, your favorite match of all time.
So Stone Cold agrees with me. I know he
That
agrees
was
with me. If
incredible.
I asked him, do you think Alicia Fox, off the record, do you think Alicia Fox is a legend? He'd be like, absolutely not. So don't come back at me. She's not a legend. Is Summer Rae a legend? No.
Summer Rae looks like an egg with hair.
But because Alicia Fox was in the company longer, she's all of a sudden considered a legend? I don't think so. Sorry.
Alex Wright, Brett Farmer just mentioned from WCW. I guess that means he's a legend now. Oh my God. Okay. So this little fight is to be continued.
Wait,
here.
so he told me to. I don't understand. I gotta check something.
He told me.
Okay.
He doesn't even want to talk to you right now.
Right.
But
you know what?
Andrew
though?
actually said, I might be reading between the lines here, but he said you're disgusting.
Andrew.
I don't know why he said that. I said to him, I was like, Andrew, you're talking about my wife here.
Andrew, tell me to my face next time. Message me yourself. I always tell you when you were on my list, I told you that you were on my list. I didn't go to anybody else. I didn't tell everybody else. I told you. So like, whoa, Daniel, are you being sarcastic? I hope you're being sarcastic.
Now, Andrew may or may not have said that to me.
That I'm disgusting.
I might have read into that too much, but I got the impression I got from him is that you're a horrible human being.
Okay. Well,
I mean, that's the impression.
I mean, you're not entirely wrong. I'm not exactly the nicest human being, but.
All right. Well, this is to be continued. We might be having Andrew Elder on the show pretty soon to settle this debate here. We have a Raw from Cincinnati, Ohio to talk about. And I think there's a lot of people that were disappointed that they were in Cincinnati and Jon Moxley didn't show up on the show.
Oh my God. Just like Cody Rhodes is supposed to be in the Rumble.
Why are people doing this? Like,
I don't know why you're doing it to yourself.
Happening? Why?
What?
I don't understand.
Don't even get me started, please.
I may have done just that. Andrew.
You call me a horrible person, Andrew.
I'm not sure. I think he did. Just from those.
I mean, from being on the list.
You're on the list. You're horrible. It's what it is.
I'm not horrible. I mean, I am a horrible person. Whatever.
So we got Raw from Cincinnati, and advertised for this show were some big names. I can't imagine that this show doesn't do a big rating or bigger than, like comparative to like what Raw is now. But I think they might be brushing against 2 million viewers again, just for this show, for what they had advertised. They had both winners of the Royal Rumble matches. We got Ronda Rousey and we got Brock Lesnar on the show. I don't know how people don't tune in. And we also had a couple good matches too for Elimination Chamber qualifying matches. One of them was definitely like a marquee match in AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio. The other one, not so much, but wound up being a great match, was Kevin Owens and Austin Theory. And cherry on top, no creepy Vince McMahon segments either.
True.
But I can't imagine that the show does poorly. There was certainly some buzz coming out of the Royal Rumble. Some people were mad about the results. But a lot of people were not happy that Ronda Rousey, returned and won, and that Brock Lesnar came out at number 30 and won. But guaranteed people are going to tune in and see what they do, because Brock Lesnar did confirm who he's facing at WrestleMania, and they teased that Ronda Rousey would, but she actually doesn't at the end. But I think I have an idea of what's going on here. So let's talk about this opening segment here with Adam Pearce in the ring. He says, he puts over Royal Rumble and says that there's a roadblock on the road to WrestleMania in the form of the Elimination Chamber, which is taking place in Victoria's favorite country of all time, Saudi Arabia. And Bobby Lashley will be defending the title inside the Elimination Chamber. So Bobby Lashley comes out, the new WWE champion. You saw at Lashley's outfit tonight. Like, Seth Rollins is supposed to be the master of drip, right? And, everybody's now wearing wacky, outlandish clothes. Like you look at Becky Lynch tonight. She looked like a bedazzled, person from Sound of Music. Like she got like that, almost like a German beer garden kind of puffy, shoulders and stuff like that. Like looking like, I don't know, like
so it's like very theatrical,
almost very Danish.
Yeah.
And now Bobby Lashley's been wearing like the drip as well. What do you think of that?
Well, I actually, believe it or not, I don't think it was actually Seth really that started it. I think it was the Miz. Miz is kind of worn like the Miz is kind of worn outlandish like suits and stuff like that. I mean, it's always been like more chic and more sophisticated, but like in the recent months, he's also kind of had that like almost exaggerated attire. I think it's just a trend. I really do. I think it's just like a new.
But it's Seth Rollins' gimmick. Okay.
Yeah,
and
but
now
but
everybody
it's
seems
also,
to be like taking that.
I don't think it's just a fashion statement. I don't think it's. I think it's just fashion.
I mean, Lashley looked good. I will say.
He did. He looked very dapper.
Lashley looked very, very good. And actually, the Miz made some history tonight. Not really history, but.
He's. We'll talk about it.
An important moment in the Miz's career here. How about that? Brett Farmer mentioning something really interesting that we do have to talk about, because we don't just talk about Raw, we talk about the news around wrestling, and that locker room morale is very, very low following this. Now, I liked the Royal Rumble matches. I was not upset with the results. I know a lot of people on the internet weren't upset about the results either. A lot of people had predicted this. And so because they predicted it, they were upset that WWE gave them what they predicted and expected, which is just deeply weird to me. But that doesn't discount the fact that people were, that actually work for the company were very upset by how everything was approached here. So this opening segment, they MVP and Bobby Lashley come out. They're complaining about having to be in the Elimination Chamber, and this is wrong. And he has to face 5 other guys. He already beat Brock Lesnar. He shouldn't have to continue to prove himself. He proved that he's a better amateur wrestler, better MMA fighter, and better WWE champion. He slayed the beast. He's the conqueror. He's the beast now, and he's the champion. So Brock Lesnar comes out. He gets a huge reaction. And Lesnar looks like he's just having so much fun.
Yeah.
Like, you saw how he was acting.
I really, honestly, I think that I don't think Lashley did bad by any means. And I think overall the segment itself just was a home run. But Lesnar stole the show, in my opinion. And that was a great way to open it up. And it wasn't long, and it got to the point. Like he basically said almost right away that he is not choosing Lashley. He's going to go for Reigns for his title, title opportunity.
That's the big news. The big news. One of the big main events of WrestleMania was decided tonight, and I think everybody knew the direction it was going. It's going to be Brock Lesnar chose to face Roman Reigns. But he did say that the match against Roman Reigns will be title for title, because he's going to take Bobby Lashley's championship.
Yes. And I honestly, what I really liked about Lesnar.
We got Daniel Shell here, by the way. Hi, Daniel.
Hi. I just enjoy about Lesnar in general I never, especially like, again, just never saw the side of him before. Like I saw like, a goofy side, and like I knew he had charisma, and I knew he had like the personality. I didn't know to this level though. I didn't know that he had it in him to actually like speak. Because he's had Heyman or somebody else kind of just being able to talk for him, and always just brought that muscle to his matches, and that, like that being that beast and being in that mode. But like the fact that he was like teasing and antagonizing and just like playful and in his approach, really good. Like really, really good. He didn't say anything like, he's not this amazing speaker in the sense where he's using this like high vocabulary or anything like that. But it fits him for how he's, getting into Lashley's head and trying to like poke the bear and annoy him and all that. Like, I really like that approach. I never really thought that he was capable of doing that. I really thought he was just kind of like a meathead for the most part. I know he's smart.
Archie Bunker?
No, but I know he's like I know he's smart.
Lesnar?
I know he's very smart. Like he's very, very calculated in how everything he's presented and how he is portrayed and how he handles his career and what he has and his choices and everything.
Sure.
But I did not know that.
You didn't realize?
No, I did not realize just how many layers there are to him.
Oh,
I couldn't believe how like the playfulness that he had. Just that the constantly saying Bobby and poking at him. Like, it's like somebody's
I've been
about
saying,
to touch you,
I've been,
and they're not touching you, but like they're going to touch you. Like that's how he.
I've been saying for quite a while now that Brock Lesnar is probably up there, I would say, in the top 10 of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. The one thing that was always kind of missing on him was the promo. And for whatever reason, Brock Lesnar, after returning in August, just decided that he's going to be really good at promos now and just have fun. Here's a person I can't remember seeing Erskine Thompson before. I believe I've seen the name before, but
I have seen the name before, but maybe not in a while.
Well, we say hello to you.
Hello.
And he makes a good point. Les's knock joke a couple weeks ago is one of the best things WWE's done in recent memory.
I can't disagree with that.
Face Brock is just, telling the jokes and the Bobby Who thing. Like,
right.
Like he gets character work, and for a long time he was doing character work without really ever having to speak a word, and just letting Paul Heyman do them. Like when he had the Money in the Bank thing and he was doing the thing where he had the stereo on his shoulder, and that just turned into a thing. Let's make a t-shirt out of that. And they put the stickers on it to make it look like a boombox and things like that. Like he's always gets something, or even like when he was suplexing John Cena at SummerSlam 2014 and he just shouted "Suplex City, bitch."
Like his one-liners.
I think that was inadvertent, and it just kind of launched this whole entire. It's kind of like Mick Foley pulling out the Socko with Mr. McMahon as like a joke, and then it turned into like a huge thing that still impacts Mick Foley's career to this day. It's just like that's just like one of those like happy accidents there, but he's just so charismatic and just he can do anything. Now
I didn't realize that.
Now with the cowboy hat, the boots, and the belt buckles, and just smiling, the knock jokes, and he's just totally like unlocked that next level. And you're not going to convince me that Brock Lesnar is just not incredible.
No, I just never knew he had it in him.
Smart, savvy guy, knows how. He just knows how to generate money.
Well, he also knows wrestling too,
and like UFC and football and whatever it is that he does. So incredible guy. And he's having a ton of fun. He does announce that he is going to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, but he still wants to face Bobby Lashley for the title because he wants that match to be title for title. He's dressed to compete tonight. I really thought, they did a good job making me think that Brock Lesnar was going to have his first televised match on Raw in God only knows how long. Maybe 20 years almost. Maybe 20 years. Maybe. But they didn't do it. Lashley got some really great heel heat. Lesnar tells him take off his $5 suit. Come on, fight me. MVP holds him back. and Lesnar calls him a chicken shit, and Lashley thinks about it more, then he walks off, and Lesnar was fired up. He was just screaming like so like USA Network didn't want that to air, so it was almost like 20 seconds where it was just absolutely no audio on the TV at all, because he was just screaming chicken shit after, over and over again.
Yep.
And it was great. He was super fired up. I mean, sometimes you watch the show and it's just like, okay, I know I'm watching wrestling, but that guy is real.
Yeah.
And I really felt like he was as real as it gets in this promo.
Well,
that's
where the differentiates between
so
somebody like
segment
with somebody Brock Lesnar and, other people in the company. You feel that intensity with other individuals, but there's such a genuine approach with Brock Lesnar that it's like you're scared. You're scared of when he's talking. You're like, oh, okay, like, all right, I believe you. You're actually wanting to fight right now.
Right.
So
right. But you just believe what he says. And so then Pierce says that he may have denied Cincinnati a WWE title match, but he will defend the title at Elimination Chamber against 5 other stars. And Lesnar goes, put me in it. And so Adam Pearce announced that Brock Lesnar will be in the Elimination Chamber match. He doesn't have to have a qualifying match. He's just in it. So, I mean, that was just fire to open the show. Really,
man,
very, very good. Now let's talk about the match that Brock Lesnar won this past Saturday. He had 2 matches on Saturday. He lost one of them against Bobby Lashley for the WWE title after interference from Roman Reigns. But he does win the Royal Rumble match. Now, there has been a lot of, I certainly do, Andrew. I have seen that look in person directed at me by Brock Lesnar before. Very scary. Very, very scary thing to be alive like that. Brett Favre does make an interesting point. There was some news that came out on Sunday about the morale backstage following the Royal Rumble, and that it was very low because, I mean, it takes a lot to plan that match. Jerome did a great job posting, the producers that, for each match at the Royal Rumble. And every match, like Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins had Michael Hayes as the producer. Pat Buck produced Becky Lynch versus Doudrop. Michael Hayes and Jason Jordan produced Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, although I think Paul Heyman had a hand in that too.
Oh, for sure.
Edge and Beth Phoenix had Adam versus The Miz, and Maurice had Adam Pearce. But the Royal Rumble matches have multiple producers. Women's Royal Rumble had Fit Finlay, Shane Helms or Hurricane Helms, Molly Holly or Mighty Molly, Pat Buck, and Michael Hayes. The Men's Rumble had Shane McMahon, Adam Pearce, Jamie Noble, Sean Daivari, and Chris Park, also known as Abyss from TNA, producing that. There was a lot of confusion, and I imagine it must have been hellacious trying to produce that match, because it, as one source put it that spoke to PW Insider, the match changed over 20 times the day of.
Wow.
So you have 30 guys, or maybe 29 guys. I think there was one guy that probably didn't really care how many times it changed, because that was the end result with Brock Lesnar. I don't think he gets involved in all that stuff.
Right.
But 29 other guys just sitting around wondering, like, what's my role here? So what am I doing here?
I have a question for you though. So in the past, has it always been that many individuals that produce a Rumble match?
What's that?
Is it always that many individuals that produce a Rumble match?
I would say so. Absolutely. Back in the day, it used to be just one guy.
But how do you feel about that, though? Should you have that many people involved? Because maybe it creates confusion. The confusion that it did past weekend.
Well, it doesn't really matter, how many people produce it. It just matters, who is, what the end result is going to be, and only one person decides that. And that's the soon-to-be 76-year-old Vince McMahon, or 77-year-old Vince McMahon this year. I think he's going to be 77 this year. And if Vince is changing his mind all day, the producers who are just trying to put together a match, I've noticed that, with more producers, it does seem more focused. There's more spots for everybody to shine. If you leave down to one guy and you have to think of, different outcomes for 30 people in a match, sometimes it just gets, sloppy, or just guys are in there, things don't make sense things sometimes, but you have more people to like, okay, I'm going to concentrate on this cluster, you concentrate on that cluster, and we'll, bash heads and hammer this out. But Vince McMahon, at the end of the day, is the one who makes the big decisions as to who wins. Who does he want to shine in this? Who does he want to have a big moments? And if Vince is going back and forth and making that aspect of it difficult, that makes the agent's job difficult. That makes the people who have to perform in the match difficult. Like Erskine says, it used to be that they knew who the final few were and they wanted a couple spots during. Now it's much more micromanaged. But I think in the micromanaging, it does make it more focused and people do get more chances to shine. The one thing I really like that I didn't say on the Rumble Post show was that, like, every year, like it's almost like Michael Cole knew who was coming out next. Of course he did. Because every time the person, as soon as their music would hit, he would just hit you with like a list of all their accomplishments. I'm glad they stopped that.
Yeah, you gotta stop that stuff.
So annoying.
Yeah.
That was so annoying. But yeah, morale was down because, there's mass confusion backstage. And probably people weren't happy that, Brock Lesnar was winning. But that to me is sour grapes.
I think that one is just more or less just maybe like that's something they can kind of get over, but to be confused all day like that and the back and forth and the changes that would bother me as a performer. I would definitely be upset.
And according to Jerome's and Jerome did a really nice job reporting on all this stuff too. As I'm just going to pull up his report here because he did a fine job reporting this. The person who spoke on the condition of anonymity, so he please don't tell on me, please. We were all in a whirlwind just as you had your rolling spots down. Everything started over and over, and now most of us were back to square one. It changed again and again and again. It wasn't an easy night even before we hit the ring. Now there was a rumor that Matt Riddle was supposed to win this. I can't imagine how the hell that could have.
I really think the end was always going to be Brock Lesnar.
That was the one that made the most sense. Now maybe Vince went back and forth trying to think of I want to do this guy or with that guy. It doesn't make any sense. It's like Brock Lesnar was the only thing that really made sense at all. But like there were people that got moments of shine. Like AJ Styles is back as a face now and definitely had a moment to shine. And he definitely, I think they're trying to make a turnaround on AJ Styles because they haven't been using him well lately. And try to make him into something again by putting him in the chamber match. But, hopefully that's part of Vince's plans now moving forward. But
I think that
I totally get the frustration there. I totally get it.
Well, I get the frustration because if, listen, when you're anticipating something and you're looking at something,
yeah,
you just want it to be executed well. And remember how even on the post show, Roy mentioned that there was an underwhelmingness to it. Like I enjoyed the Rumble, but I get what he was saying. And I think that, from now hearing that they were confused all day about what was going to happen,
sure,
it shows. Like you could see why now there was probably that underwhelming notion because maybe themselves, they were not into it because they're like, all right, now I just got to get through what I can remember of what we did. Like maybe even like 10 minutes before they even went on the show, right?
Who knows?
Or it could even been like moments beforehand. And then lo and behold, here we are. You have to do what you have to do. And then it kind of shows. I mean, there's certain times like, yeah, you can keep your composure as a professional and do what you got to do. And they did. They absolutely did perform. But the fact that if they were really feeling like that, it shows. I think with the women's match, there probably was a little bit more of that cohesiveness only because obviously they brought in Ronda Rousey to win.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
like you can tell that the Rousey thing definitely changed the path for a lot of people.
Correct.
Even Lita, it seemed like they were kind of setting up Lita versus, Charlotte Flair for maybe like WrestleMania.
Right.
I think Lita versus Charlotte Flair could still happen at WrestleMania, but like Ronda Rousey definitely throws a monkey wrench into that as well.
Yeah, I don't think it was as
I think that came up very quickly.
Yeah, I don't think it was as like. I mean, yeah, they probably had like confusing spots and in terms of like what they were changing, but I don't think Vince was heavily focused on that match.
I want to go to what Brett says here. You know, I would be frustrated if I was confused all day, and at the end of the day, the entire pay-per-view was about Heyman, Reigns, and Lesnar at the expense of everyone else. That's usually the case, as it is. You know, I mean, looking at the men's Royal Rumble match, just real quick, I'm just give me like a second while I pull this thing up here, because I just want to read over the list of people that were in it. They were just so. There's so many guys that are just like cookie cutter that just don't even mean anything anymore. It's like, like a guy like Ridge Holland doesn't really stand out to me. Robert Roode's just a dude. Like these are the people that they had in this match. It's like, who should it be about at the end of the day? Otis is, I mean, like they're doing stuff with him, but he's just another big guy. Like everybody kind of has almost like the same gimmick. Like they cut Rick Boog's hair and just like made him look like, I don't know, like he looked like he could have been a member of like the Vaudevillains at the thing. Ricochet's just dead. I don't like, who else could it be about? Like that's kind of
well, that was what we were saying.
Kind of the issue here too.
But that's what I was saying the other night at the post show.
You should build up your main event, for WrestleMania and give it your all. And if you have to make a show all about that main event, that's what you got to do, because that's the thing that you're hoping will sell tickets. I did see one that was really a good comment here too. Let me just see if I can scroll up and find it real quick. Oh yeah, no, it's Brett Farmer again. So they accidentally are making magic with Lesnar and Lashley and Reigns and Rollins, but they're going to force Reigns versus Lesnar at WrestleMania. I still think that's their biggest match. If you're going to sell out a stadium, that's the only one that makes sense. But yeah, that's why I wanted Lesnar to have the two matches at WrestleMania,
Because you wanted that opportunity for him to have those both matches.
I thought like Lesnar versus Lashley at like night
that
one
would have been
huge.
Yeah, and that still,
and honestly,
and that would have worked also if they did go that route.
When Lesnar was talking to him tonight, I thought that was going to be like the case, like when he said like, oh, I want it to be title for title, because I don't know, like who is Bobby Lashley going to face?
But here's the thing, though.
WrestleMania.
I know this might.
What's the match?
Well, I think
unless he does lose an Elimination Chamber,
who knows? And that very well could be a possibility as well. But am I totally crazy if I say that they could have Reigns, Lesnar, Lashley, and Rollins? Is that totally out of the possibility to have it, or do you think the extent would be a triple threat?
I would not discount that at all.
Okay,
they definitely could do something like that.
Who knows? Maybe they're leaving that open at this point. If they see the progression of way things are going between these matchups, who the hell knows?
They don't say anything for no reason, and if Vince McMahon didn't want you to think that there could be a title for title match, and look, the brand split kind of does seem to be like drying up a little bit. A lot of people going back and forth on the shows, like Seth just all of a sudden appears on the show, on SmackDown. Big E's back on SmackDown just for no reason. Like there was nobody came over to Raw from SmackDown to replace Big E. Usos have appeared on the show before. Maybe they're going to be, kind of saying like, yeah, we're gonna have a brand split, but people can just go back and forth as they see fit. But for the most part, we're gonna try to keep. I don't know like how they could do that, but
yeah,
Vince McMahon isn't going to have, with how much everything's micromanaged, they're not even going to tease title for title if there was never even
an option or a thought of it.
Right.
I don't know. I just feel like
it's possible.
I don't know. I could be crazy, but it would. Let's put it this way: if it did happen, I wouldn't be upset. I feel like all four of those men would be deserving, and especially, I would, even for Lashley, like I feel like. In particular, because it's been more of a recent development with him being in these title pictures and stuff like that, it wouldn't bother me, and then having those four together, any one of them winning wouldn't upset me.
Right.
I mean, maybe Rollins a little bit, but not just because he's not doing well, but out of the four of them, like maybe not my favorite one, but
yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of questions. There's no question about the Universal title, but that WWE Championship, there's a lot of questions there. And Erskine says that Lashley, he believes that Lashley could be a transitional champion, which that would be a shame because they are doing some great work. And I would like to see Bobby Lashley, in this strong standpoint going into WrestleMania, with a title. Or if he loses the title to Lesnar, then he's got to get his rematch. Seth Rollins might have to get his rematch against Roman Reigns.
Right.
Maybe they do have a fatal 4-way, but then what do you do with, like, are you just praying to God that Ronda Rousey sells out night one?
Good point. I don't know.
But then again, people.
But she could.
But if you're going to WrestleMania, people are probably just going to spend a ton of money and just buy the package deal and get the 2 nights.
I have a feeling, honestly.
I don't think if you're going to WrestleMania, you're going to just buy 1 night. You're going to buy 2.
When we eventually go to WrestleMania, again,
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm going to 2 nights.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm doing 2 nights.
Both nights.
I honestly think most people who probably are doing the 1 night are people with like little kids. And they're just looking to do like 1 night of an experience.
Right.
Like and they'll look at the card and they'll see like, oh, okay, Roman Reigns is here that night. We'll go to that one. Right. But
could you imagine like saying like, oh, we're only going to night 2 of WrestleMania and they missed the Bad Bunny thing last year? That would have been sad.
That's the thing. I can't see people not buying 2, but I think you have to, it's very like specific reasons why you're only going to 1 night of it.
Right.
Last minute tickets, or like you have young kids, like you have family, whatever. But
let's continue on with this show here. So our first match was Rhea Ripley versus Nikki Ash, and Rhea Ripley decisively beat her. Not much to this match. There was an interesting moment where there was a wardrobe malfunction on Rhea Ripley, so USA Network blacked it out.
Yep.
And then amazingly, WWE's Twitter put it up uncensored in a GIF. And I saw it. I was like, wait a minute. That's the thing that just was blacked out on my TV. And then I looked at it and like you could see like her boob tape was out. And I think it might have saw like a hint of a body part there.
Yeah.
And then they took it down.
And they're like, oh, okay.
Like, oh, somebody's
whoopsies.
bad. Somebody's bad. So somebody in that social media department was not doing their job very well there. I hope and pray that
it needs to go.
That's the end of that feud, and we can just move on from that.
I
did like Nikki Ash being super evil during the women's Royal Rumble. Yeah. I liked her attacking Molly Holly. I liked her thwarting, a couple things that Rhea Ripley was trying to do, but it's doing nothing for Rhea Ripley.
Yes.
And look, they could very well, this could very well be the blow off, and then they're not going to do anything with Rhea Ripley for like 10 weeks.
Who knows? That might
because
be
she's certainly not factoring in any plans for WrestleMania.
No. And
so how do you build somebody like Rhea Ripley? Maybe you just have because you have 2 nights of WrestleMania. I don't think Bianca Belair is getting anything either. Because
which is a shame.
Because if it's going to be like, let's just say, they do Charlotte versus Lita at WrestleMania, it would have to be Rousey versus Becky Lynch.
Yes.
Because Lynch is already facing Lita. Lita's obviously has signed and they had an idea for her. I think they will follow through on some kind of idea.
For her to perform.
So that it impacts Bianca Belair, boots her out of something big. Maybe they can start a really good feud, maybe tie in their old NXT stuff and then, some new stuff. Maybe we have like a big Haas fight, with 2 powerful women at WrestleMania. I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
Maybe they just have like a steel cage match or some kind of gimmick match at WrestleMania.
There could be. I was thinking also something can be involved with Shayna Baszler just being with Ronda, not like in a title thing, but just in general.
Oh, they definitely teased Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey
at some point
at Royal Rumble. Like at least a partnership or something like that. But I don't know I don't know what they do with Rhea Ripley.
I don't know because they've tried.
But all I know is that it needs to end, and it seems like it's ended.
I hope so, because honestly, I told you this a few weeks ago with Nikki Ash. It was one of those things where I didn't mind when it started progressing into this like evil superhero type thing. The fact that she doesn't think she's actually a superhero, but she thinks that she's just like a crazy person who's just wearing a costume, but is just like evil. Fine. I'm actually into that character. But when she was actually thinking like, oh, I'm a superhero, I'm one for the people, it's like,
That was
okay,
brutal.
like, come on. And Rhea Ripley, it's such a shame because you don't get many second chances to have a first impression and come up with whatever. And she did. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
And it's really like, I honestly, I don't think it's her fault. I really don't think it's, I think,
Well, I mean, yeah, no,
unfortunately,
it always comes down to bad booking.
you know,
It always does.
but
It just always does.
it's like, how do you reset it again? Like, how do
Well,
you reset a reset? We already did the reset. So how do you do it again?
Yep.
That's the question. How do you go away for some time, but then what are you going to do with her when she comes back?
Right.
The same shit?
I don't know. Well, look, they're kind of going back and forth on doing the same shit with Alexa Bliss because the psychiatrist, like, they were definitely trying to insert some WWE shop.com advertisements in the Alexa Bliss segments tonight, because the psychiatrist was like, well, I have a Lily replica doll, how does this make you feel? And they had Alexa Bliss crying and looking at this thing like, what do you think of these Alexa Bliss segments? And like,
I think they're going off the
you
rails again. I didn't mind it in the beginning. I didn't, because I felt like we were going away from this whole magical theme of, okay, like, it was all in her head. She's just a crazy person, whatever, and trying to convince the fans that that's basically what it was. Can you get them the plug from upstairs while I speak?
Yep.
Thank you. But I think that it is going off the rails again, in the sense where we're reverting back. We're very focused on this Lily doll. We're very focused on the traumatic experiences and, whatever. But I don't want to see it develop. It did not work. It did not work. And at the end of the day, if you are in creative, or if you're Vince McMahon and you're saying that worked for Alexa Bliss, it did not. She did the best she could with it. I think she did well with it considering the circumstances, but you can't go back to that. Let's not embellish even more than what we're doing. Keep it simple. Keep it that fine, psychiatrist, whatever. That's totally fine. But I don't need it to go into this exaggerated form once again of what Alexa Bliss is, because Alexa Bliss is better than that. She has so much potential in so many other ways that they could be using her in terms of her character, and they're just not. She plays a character well. She knows how to speak. She knows what she's doing. So why are you going to just avert back to old ways with this magical theme? I hope it doesn't go to that route, but I have a strong feeling it kind of is going back to that a little bit, and I don't like it.
Well, let's hope not. But that would suck. I hope whatever they do with it, I hope it's just toned down from whatever it was. Like, I can take a little magic, but not like what they were doing.
Yeah, exactly. I could take down. I do feel like they did tone it down, but I feel it going off the rails again. I was just saying because I know you're upstairs. Thank you for that.
So the Miz had a big night.
He did
Tonight. Granted, it's against Dominik Mysterio. The match was absolutely nothing. But the Miz picked up his first victory since pinning Damian Priest while the Miz was in his underwear in a handicap tag with the departed John Morrison. And it's also his first singles victory since March 2021 against Jeff Hardy. So
I cannot believe, honestly, we're almost at a year. As I was going to say, I cannot believe. It feels like just yesterday that happened. But no, it's almost a year now. And then when you put the number, when you put it right in front of me, I'm like, oh my God, you're right.
I know.
I cannot believe it.
So that was that. I don't know if the Miz is going to be entering into a feud with the Mysterios. Yeah. Andrew Elder is pointing out that Jimmy Smith said something stupid about Miz looking to win the Mysterio name, and that by beating Dominik or something like that. Like, so Miz is like Miz Mysterio. I don't know, but that certainly wasn't a gimmick or like an actual thing that was happening. and Jimmy Smith has called title matches that weren't title matches before. So, there's the thing.
That's the thing.
Match was nothing. We got to talk about Dominik Mysterio real quick. He came in with a lot of, fanfare as the son of Rey Mysterio. Mm-hmm. I gave him a lot of credit for taking that kendo stick beating from Seth Rollins. He had his basically his first match ever, was televised on SummerSlam against Seth Rollins, and he had a very good showing against him.
He did.
And like there was obviously a lot of room for improvement. He had a lot to do in terms of like, displaying some charisma and character. So, but it's been almost a year and a half since his debut match, and he's good. I think he's smooth in the ring. There's not enough that connects like moves to one another, but I don't want to call it right now.
Yeah,
because there's still room for improvement, and he is very young.
Of course, absolutely.
But he should not be on TV anymore. He has not shown in a year and a half anything resembling charisma. If he was any other guy, he'd be in NXT right now. But he's Rey Mysterio's son, so he's up on the main roster. And it's and the main roster is it's not an environment conducive to development. He should be in NXT.
Andrew and Daniel Schell are both saying the same thing right now.
He should be at the Performance Center, not even on NXT. Yeah. I think there's still a lot for him to do.
And his saving grace is that he is young. So if you did do that, if you put it at the lowest,
if you don't start getting this going.
Yes. If you put him at the lowest level, even like you said, the Performance Center and then NXT, and then have him go through what a regular superstar would go through, right?
Absolutely.
Have them go through the whole process. Because you learn through that whole thing. You learn about yourself and what you really want to do with not just, and for him in particular, because when you're part of like of a legacy, you almost have more to prove, and you almost have more to think about. Do you want to just be part of that legacy, or do you want to be more than that? Like, do you want to set yourself apart differently?
Right now, he's there just because of the legacy.
Yeah.
He's not there because he's a great professional wrestler. I think they should, I think they should put a mask on him, because I think that would help him because he has no charisma as it is, at least like, he can learn to like work with the mask and
it just kind of,
and figure out and work on his selling.
Yeah.
Because part of Rey Mysterio's charm is that he's just, you really like, you root for him, because like, when he's on the cell, he's just, you really just, your heart goes out to him. He really makes you believe that he's in deep trouble, and you want to see this guy make a comeback. I don't know. Erskine says he's a charisma vacuum. They do have a developmental territory at the Performance Center. That's where he should be. It's
and let him do it. He's young. He's young.
He's 24 years old.
Yeah,
he's 24 years old. He's 25 in April. They were teasing for a while that Dominik was going to turn on his father and do that, but then they didn't go that route, because I think they know that if they did that, Ray's going to he's obviously going to want to put his son over.
Right.
And they're going to have Rey Mysterio, who they've been abusing. They've been abusing Rey since he's come back. And every now and then they give him a match where it's like, okay, well, just go and be Rey Mysterio again. And because he's been abused for so long, even the fans are starting to just like, oh, well, it's Rey, like he's a legend, but they're not treating him like a legend. So he's having a good match, but we don't really believe it.
Yeah.
So they're going to have Rey Mysterio, who doesn't have very many bullets left in him on the WWE roster. I think if he went somewhere else, he would certainly have lots of ammunition, because he would be treated like Rey Mysterio and not like, oh, well, he's 40 something, so that's the end of Rey.
Right.
It's a guy who could still go, and an extremely smart wrestler and one of the best wrestlers of all time. So they're going to waste like the very few remaining bullets that he has on the WWE roster that would actually mean something. Put Dominik over, and then Rey would maybe go away, and Dominik would immediately fail.
Yeah, he wouldn't be left with much. I agree.
And he would probably be cut, and then it's like, well, we just wasted Rey Mysterio for good.
Yep.
So
and I don't think he's ready to even have that.
I don't think he'll ever be ready. I think Rey was hoping that Dominik would be ready, by the time, I think he's got one more year left on his contract, hoping that his son would be ready, to pass the torch. It's not going to happen. And Rey's going to pass the torch to this kid. It can't happen
that quickly
Rey's going to pass the torch to this kid, and then he's going to get cut.
Yeah.
When Rey's
can't
gone.
Do it.
Because the only reason that he's not cut right now is because Ray's there.
Because of his name. Yeah, exactly.
Is because Ray's there.
Yep.
And that was probably part of his deal to keep him there. So it's a precarious position for Mr. Dominik Mysterio. He's got to pick it up. He's got to find something. I don't know if it's there. I don't know if it exists.
And I don't know if it exists. I don't know if he also would say to himself, like, I think it takes a lot for a person's pride. I don't think he would himself make that decision.
Well, no,
to go down.
Who would? You're on TV every week.
No, yeah, you're right. And somebody that young.
You're on TV
somebody that young is not going to make that decision.
You're on TV every week.
They're not thinking logically.
Of course not. And no one's going to request that because that's a defeatist attitude.
Yeah.
We got the Kevin Owens show. Moving on, unless you have something else to say. Dominic?
No. It was to continue with what you were just saying about
the points, like either, but it's.
No, I was going on to Kevin Owens.
Yeah. Well, Brett does ask, like, how do we know Dom would fail? Look at him. That's how I know.
He's not doing well now with the assistance of his father.
I know things that'll work and things that won't work. I know Dominik Mysterio would not work on his own. He hasn't been able to be unique. I agree with that, but I don't know if I think Dominik is giving all that he's got right now, and it's not enough. I don't think it's enough. I don't see it.
He hasn't had enough experience.
I don't see it.
You really do have to. There's a reason why you go from the bottom to the top.
I've seen him come and go, and lifelong of watching, but also 15 years of deeply watching this product and knowing what works and what doesn't. I'm not look. I can toot my own horn a little bit here. I do know what that of which I speak. I don't see it. You
have to work from the bottom up. You just do. You have to pay your dues.
So Kevin Owens is out there. I think they're going to try to do a rematch or a repeat of a segment they did a couple weeks ago with Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, where they just had a really, really annoying, drippy love fest segment. But instead, it looks like they are trying to do something with Rollins where he's a tweener now. I think they're hinting at Seth Rollins potentially being face,
which is smart though. I think.
Well, somebody's got to be a face, especially if he's going to have one more match against Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I honestly that's smart, and you know what? Because it's not going to be like this cheesy. Like if he does wind up being like full blown, or if he's in that like tweener more towards like the face side, it's not gonna be like this cheesy like gimmick. You know what I mean? So, he'll still have that integrity of, being strong and holding his ground and being like that, like slick Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with a tweener face.
I don't mind it.
Whatever.
I think it's fine. Yeah. So Kevin Owens. So Seth Rollins announces that he's in the Elimination Chamber, which does not make Kevin Owens happy because Kevin Owens has to face Austin Theory to get into the title and to get into the match. So he goes, well, why don't we go find Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville, and you tell them that you're gonna leave the Elimination Chamber match if I don't get put in there without having to have a qualifying match. And Seth Rollins declines that. So they're definitely teasing something could potentially happen with Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens in the future. But I really like the chemistry between these two. And they had a match, at the empty arena WrestleMania 36. That was way better than it had any right to be, especially in an empty arena. That was the one where Kevin Owens dove off the WrestleMania sign and basically broke his
remember
ankle
that. Yep, that was great.
God, Kevin Owens takes some really nasty bumps, though. Jeez, he does. I think about that bump off the WrestleMania sign, but also he took a nasty bump in this match against Austin Theory too.
I always get very nervous.
And I tried to find a gif of it. I could not find anything. In fact, I'm going to try to find it real quick. Pull this
just up. Honestly, with this match, it was amazing.
No, so this match against Austin Theory is really, really showing something here, because they're doing the stuff with Vince McMahon, where Vince is doing this thing where he's protecting him and kind of threatening him and doing all this stuff. But he's showing up in a big way. He was working with a gimmick that was kind of lame, with the millennial taking selfies with everybody. But wow, he's risen above that very, very quickly. He had an awesome match against AJ Styles last week that he ultimately lost. He's had some good matches against Finn Balor, which we haven't seen Finn Balor in a couple weeks now.
Yep.
No Royal Rumble appearance. And no, a lot of people off the show tonight too, by the way. It seemed like they were missing a lot of stars. Randy Orton was on the show tonight. They seem like they're missing quite a few people, because some things did get drawn out tonight, but whatever. But Austin Theory has been having good match after good match, and he's got 2 back-to-back really, really good matches now. This one against Kevin Owens was just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can. Where is this darn?
Could it really not have been posted? Like, is that really like a thing?
How it wouldn't be posted?
That's insane.
Incredible. It was so nasty.
Okay. It was nasty.
So
did you find it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sadly, no. And I couldn't believe that WWE.com didn't gift it. They gift so they gift Rhea Ripley's wardrobe malfunction, but they didn't gift like this incredible.
Well, of course they did with
nasty
that
bump with Kevin Owens on the steel steps. So anyway, what happened was, like anytime they do the steps, it's always like, you go into the side of the steps almost every single time. Everybody always, like, I would say 99.9% of the time, everybody goes on the steps.
Yeah.
Every now and then they'll knock the top half of the steps off and slam them on the hard,
right?
But flat bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Theory takes Kevin Owens' head, and Kevin Owens quickly becoming like taking Mick Foley type bumps here, and slams him onto the actual steps. Not the side of the steps, but the actual steps. And it just looked so devastating and so nasty. Like, I couldn't believe he took a bump like that. But he takes bumps like that all the time.
He does it.
Crazy.
And actually, what's interesting? You said it like literally seconds ago. He does give me like those Mick Foley vibes. He is going to keep pushing himself. And I feel like you see the wheels working. It's not enough for him. He's always going to push and push and push.
Let me see if I can.
It's insane. It really is.
Let me see if I can. Is this it? Oh, yeah.
Did you find it? You found it?
They do have a video.
Okay.
I'm going to share it. I'm not going to share any. I'm not going to post the audio here, but you just have to see it because it's a ridiculous bump. It's an absurd bump, to be honest with you. It probably shouldn't have happened at all, but here it is. All right. That's crazy. Let me rewind that again. Just look at what happened.
Wow.
Oh God! I mean, like you could actually see the back of his head.
He has no limits. This man.
He has almost seemingly
no boundaries, no
limits,
no regard. No, he doesn't. He's gonna.
That's a horrific bump.
He will continue to push the envelope as long as he can. I'm telling you there's no stopping that man from and he's like, how can I do it even more?
I know. So he had an incredible, he just had an incredible match with Austin Theory. Austin Theory really stepped up in a big way, but Owens gave him so much and gave him a really great match. Austin Theory beats Kevin Owens to get entered in the Elimination Chamber, kicks the rope into Kevin Owens's groin and hits the ATL for the win. So, that's a pretty big win for Austin Theory right there. Austin Theory is going to Saudi Arabia, and at this point, it's Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar against Bobby Lashley in the Chamber. 2 more spots to go on this show, but that was a hell of a match. Angelo Dawkins in his hometown of Cincinnati versus Dolph Ziggler. Not much for the hometown boy there. The crowd just didn't really seem like they were super, super into it.
Well, and I know Dolph's not Cincinnati, but he's from Ohio too.
That's true. Yes, he is. Yeah. Where is he from? Maybe it is Cincinnati, Ohio.
I don't remember. I don't know.
Imagine if Kevin Owens worked a lights out match in AEW. The bumps.
I think he's Cleveland.
Ohio.
Yeah, I think he's Cleveland.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
Because they always say Miz is from Cleveland, but he's actually from Parma. So
nobody cares about Parma.
But
that knows what Parma is. It's a cheese. That's what
but 2 Ohio boys.
Yeah, they did pretty well for themselves. Not bad at all. So Angelo Dawkins faces Dolph Ziggler, beats him pretty handily. But God, the crowd wasn't there for that. This guy Veer Mahan is still coming to Raw. It's been months. Months they've been running these vignettes. And this time he says, I've been patient like a lion, waiting, watching, biding my time.
Yeah, so have we.
But now the hunter has finally spotted his prey, and soon I will strike. I wonder who he's going to face. I can almost guarantee you. I'm going to make a prediction as to who Veer Mahan is going to face. I'm going to make the prediction right now.
Oh, God. Who?
Finn Balor.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right.
Whenever Finn comes back, he can expect an attack by Veer Mahan.
I'm not looking forward to that. Is that bad?
Veer has something.
Yeah, but I don't want to see him face
Veer had
Finn
something
Balor.
when I saw him, and I pegged it like when he was doing the 3-man team with Jinder Mahal and Shanky. I was like, God, Veer is like, what the hell? This guy can go.
Wait. Can you repeat that? Where did you see him?
With Jinder Mahal and Shanky. He was part of that 3-man group. Remember, he was just like random bodyguard, appeared one day with Jinder Mahal with no fanfare whatsoever.
I did not
no
make
build,
that connection.
No reason why they were all together.
Gotcha.
And they did nothing for him because Jinder lost every single one of his matches.
No, did not make that connection. Interesting.
It's crazy.
Okay.
But, I think if Veer gets a chance, I mean, this is the guy with the $1 million arm that with a Disney.
Wait,
movie.
So it's him?
It's him. He's the $1 million arm from Disney.
Okay, why did I keep forgetting that?
I don't know.
Gotcha.
But he had something when a brief little run that he went on, and then they took him off TV and did these vignettes to kind of build him up. Now they haven't brought him in. Like, I really
hope. I really hope though.
Now you got to shit or up the pot.
Yeah, but I really hope he's not. If when he does come in, I hope it's not against Finn Balor, because that's kind of like. Oh.
Well, I mean, Finn Balor is still a name. I think that could be something for him to do. We'll see.
I don't know.
So throughout the night, we've been watching. There's a segment with Riddle and Chad Gable having a scooter race, because that was RK Bro won the spelling bee last week. So Riddle chose to have a scooter race. No Randy Orton on the show tonight. No. So they do 50 laps around the arena, and then whoever gets to ringside, the finish line first, wins. And Chad Gable's beating him. Then he trips and falls. So Riddle passes him, goes to win. Otis runs him over, and then Chad Gable gets the victory. And eventually they announce that what the hell kind of match are they going to have? I can't even. A quiz bowl.
Quiz bowl.
They're having a quiz bowl. So that's the third and final of this triad
challenge. Yeah,
whatever it is. So Riddle says, that's not cool. You took the integrity out of my scooter race. I was like, whatever. So Chad says, sounds like you want to have a match against me, but so I'll give it to you, but it's going to be against Otis.
Yep.
They, for whatever reason, come out and say that this match is an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. So even on TV, they show that they're not really, they have no real plans. It's like, oh my God, this match is happening. We should make this part of the Elimination Chamber qualifiers.
God, imagine Vince in the ear, like, oh, by the way.
Yeah, right. Come on now. Brett Farmer says the buildup for Veer reminds me of the buildup from Mordecai. I cannot tell you how I thought they did such a good job building up Mordecai in 2004, even though it was Kevin Thorne and he stunk. But man, I was like, God, like I couldn't wait for this guy to debut, and what a disappointment that was. What an unbelievable disappointment that was. What a bummer. Anyway, so Riddle has this match against Otis. Now, keep in mind, Riddle just did 50 laps in the arena on a scooter, and Otis is Otis, and now it's an Elimination Chamber qualifier. I thought Riddle was excellent in this, and if Riddle was, as this rumor came out, supposed to be the original winner of the Royal Rumble, tonight was like a night where you could hang your hat and say, Riddle showed something as a really great face in peril. Now, Riddle spends almost all of his matches, getting beat down. But tonight, I was paying extra attention because he did get beat down so much by Otis that I was like, man, like this guy really was so good on the sell. I couldn't wait for him to like kind of make a comeback. And it wasn't like, oh, this match is getting long now. I like just make the damn comeback already. It was like, he would make like a little hope spot and then get crushed again. It wound up being a really great underdog victory for Otis in this match. I'm sorry, for Riddle in this match over Otis. And Riddle picks up the win, and now he's going to be in the Elimination Chamber match in Saudi Arabia. I could not believe that. I was like, wow, I guess they really want to just have big guy in there, except for Brock Lesnar, F5 Otis, I suppose. But they went Riddle instead.
Yeah. And I think that was the right decision.
But this is the type of match where, you watch, I mean, yes, I've known that Riddle is an excellent professional wrestler and should be pushed at a higher level than he is, for sure. Perhaps. But tonight was the night where it's like, they have to do more. He has to do more than convince me. He has to convince the old man. And this was the type of match that the old man could look at and be like, this guy's got something.
He's got something here.
He really has something more than just the burnout stoner.
Well, and funny enough that he's able to prove himself through this whole challenge type thing.
Yeah,
because it really stemmed from this whole thing that they're doing.
This goofy
thing, but then they wind up having
almost.
this. It's crazy.
Right. So, I thought it was a really, really well done match. Really, really well done. And Daniel Schell, of course, been dying for an RK Bro split for whatever reason. I don't even want to see a match against Randy Orton and Riddle at this point. I love the chemistry they have. I'd like them to do like a New Day thing where it's just like they just kind of go their separate ways. I don't really.
Yeah, they don't need to actually have a breakup.
I would like for them to have RK Bro in their back pocket to go back to whenever they want.
Why not?
Kind of like the Rock and Mick Foley, Rock and Sock connection there. RK Bro could be like a Rock and Sock, it's such a great tag team.
They can have a tiff.
They don't need to break up.
They can have a tiff.
Yeah, they can. Well, they always have a tiff, but they don't need to break up and just say well, that's done.
No. I mean,
I know what you mean, but that's done. Because even if they have a tiff where they wind up having a match, that's stupid. I don't think they should break them up. I think they're merchandise movers. Number one, I think people really like it. I think they can both, Randy Orton obviously is a legend. He's got a built-in singles run, but Riddle going on a singles run, maybe they just put RK Bro to the side and they revisit it whenever they want. Yep. Because, they could just, it's like, okay, well, we don't have anything for a Riddle right now. So let's just resurrect RK Bro and have them do a little run for a little bit until, something emerges. So I think that's something that I would like to see. Kind of like a New Day Rock and Sock connection type deal there. Bianca Belair versus Carmella. This match, this wasn't good.
It was very underwhelming.
So what do you think of it? What was your opinion?
I just didn't like it. I didn't really like anything about it. I just... And you know what bothers me the most about it is because it's mostly for Bianca Belair. Whatever about Carmella, honestly, I think she's just there. I don't think she's I don't mind her as a performer. I don't think she's entirely great, but I don't think she's really bad either. To me, she's just one of those that's just kind of meh, whatever. I could watch her sometimes and like her. I can watch her sometimes and be like, well, no, whatever. And this is one of those nights where I was just whatever about her. I just feel like at this point with Bianca Belair, there's just so much more that they could be doing with her and building her up, and
they're not.
And it's disappointing because she has this charisma. She has
a great ability.
Yeah. And it's
and she's young.
And she's and then they're not seeing it the way that we're seeing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. But having a drawn out match like this against Carmella and all of a sudden it's Carmella, we're supposed to take her seriously when they haven't taken her seriously and she hasn't done anything in months.
And that's the thing,
essentially.
And also maybe to the point of the fact that they don't have really any other women for her to compete with. That might be the other problem too.
Yeah.
Who else are serious competitors?
Now Brett brings up a good point. Carmella is she was good. I mean, you think about the match that she had against Sasha Banks last year, I think at the Royal Rumble. I think it was at the Rumble, where she had Reginald or no, it might have, no, you know what? I don't think it was the Royal Rumble. I think it might have. No, I think I can't remember. I cannot remember. There's just too many premium live events to keep track of. But she did have a really good match against Sasha Banks, and then they kind of dropped her and did nothing with her after that. Did this whole thing around. She comes back as the most beautiful woman in WWE. But you can't just go from 0 to 60 on these people. Like, like this match was almost like a mirror image of the Otis and Riddle match, but they've done a good job building Otis, and Riddle is really good on the sell, and it was believable because Otis was so much bigger than Riddle, but Carmella is so much smaller than Bianca Belair, and she dominated her for almost the entirety of the match, and then Bianca just made this quick comeback and it was over. No one bought into it. No one cared about the finish when it eventually came because they're like, we're just waiting for her to beat Carmella, and this is going on too long. It was the exact opposite effect of what they had just done in the previous segment. It was crazy. And in turn, Becky Lynch, who comes out later in the night and says that the Raw Women's Division has never been hotter. How about like Bianca Belair versus Liv Morgan? They had like a little thing going here. They could have done that match tonight if they wanted to give Bianca Belair some time and maybe help Liv Morgan out there too. But no Liv Morgan on this show tonight.
No.
AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio. This I forgot to put my Twitter thought in there. I gotta go back and edit it later. But this was an excellent match.
It was
really excellent match. Kind of a bummer of a match though, because both guys, they've done almost nothing.
They're over the hill.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
I know they're not.
I know. But that's how they've been treated.
That's what I'm saying.
And now it's like, now they've decided, now they've realized what they have on their hands with like AJ Styles and Rey Mysterio, both guys that are excellent hands. Oh, maybe they're not as over the hill as we thought. Maybe like AJ Styles is close to Randy Orton's age and Randy Orton can still go. Maybe, AJ can go. AJ Styles is officially back to being a face because he shook Rey Mysterio's hand before the match. This match didn't get any reaction though. No. Now, part of it might be because it came off a bad Bianca Belair match or whatever, but you would think they'd still pop for these two, but these two have been mishandled for so long that it's going to take a little time for people to build up and believe in them again.
Well, to be excited and to just have any sort of reaction at this point.
Because age,
I don't think we don't
at this point right now, they're ageless.
We don't think of them as being over the hill. We see them as the superstars that they are. I don't look at them and see a number. I don't. I just look at them and see as great performers, great entertainers, great superstars, great wrestlers. That's all I see them as. And that's the majority of what the WWE universe sees them as well. There is no age to them. And you shouldn't put an age on.
Like Rey Mysterio doesn't look old at all.
But neither one of them look old at all.
But Rey especially, the guy wears a mask, so you can't even see that he's old.
So
he's been around forever. That's the only thing that would give away that Rey Mysterio is a guy in his 40s, because he's in great shape. He moves just as he moves better than he did in his 30s because he dropped all that weight. He dropped all that, muscle that, he was putting on with the steroids.
At this point that they've gotten the treatment so bad that it is going to take some time before there's any sort of like, it's right. It's AJ.
That pointless tag team with Omos that did nothing, and Omos is a total nothing burger. AJ spent all that time with a guy that was never going to get off the ground in the first place, literally. And the guy, he cannot move. And Rey Mysterio has just been suffering, trying to get his son over, and they've done nothing with him. It's like
just as a result.
And even when he was like, as a single star, he was doing that horrible eye for eye stuff with Seth Rollins, and like literally where his eye pops out and things like that. It's like just so absurd. It's really, really freaking absurd. They've mishandled Rey so much, and for the past year and a half, they've mishandled AJ Styles, but it looks like they've turned their opinion on AJ Styles, because he had a good showing in the Royal Rumble. He had a showing like he was AJ Styles again. And tonight he looked like AJ Styles again. They're letting AJ Styles be AJ Styles. That's all.
As they should.
That's all you can hope for.
That's all. It's all you need.
So the Elimination Chamber is going to consist of Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, Seth freaking Rollins, Austin Theory, Riddle, and AJ Styles. So that sounds like a damn good Elimination Chamber match.
Wish we can be there.
I don't want to go there, but I wish it was somewhere close to here that we could go to. But final segment of the night, Ronda Rousey comes out. She gets a good ovation, but she's got that sneer in her face. Like I think they're going to play Ronda as a heel.
And they should.
What do you think?
They should. It works better for her. I don't think like this like hokey like what they were doing with her almost 3 years ago now worked. It just didn't. You got to have her up as a heel. She's a badass. She's tough. She's who she is. She's Ronda frickin' Rousey. Sorry, I didn't mean to do the frickin'. But that is the best bet that you can have with her, and it will be it's easier to play a heel, and I hate to say it, it's easier to play a heel than it is to be a face. Even though, let's put it this way, you could have her really either way, and she's going to get some sort of
she's going to get a
reaction and mainstream and whatever. But just so for the sake of her being comfortable in her, even when she was doing back again 3 years ago when she's doing like those things on Twitter, those videos, she seemed more comfortable in that role, shit talking, than she did like, oh, I'm so happy to be here, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like,
well, I mean, since she's been gone, she's been, she's had nothing really good to say about the WWE fans. When they released Bray Wyatt, she's like, well, you crapped all over his stuff. Now you're crying about him. Screw you guys.
Right.
Because she was legitimately upset.
She was.
Following Survivor Series 2018.
And she has her opinions.
When she was booed at Survivor Series 2018, that really hurt her.
Yeah.
It really, really upset her.
Mm-hmm.
And she carried that chip on her shoulder for quite a while. And I don't think she's ever dropped it. So I think, I part of me feels like she is here for the money. Because I don't think that she enjoys performing for these fans. I don't think so at all.
I think she likes doing it. I think she likes doing what she's doing. But I don't think I think she likes the people who she works with. I don't think she likes us.
yeah. Like I don't think she enjoys the fans at all. But she says, she's been wondering if she should, whose title she should take. Should it be Charlotte or Rebecca? She calls her Rebecca instead of Becky. She says, I could choose Rebecca, but my attention is a compliment she doesn't deserve. The biggest fight with any woman is at any time is always with her. And when she said that line, I was like, that's a horrible line. And then like 3 seconds after she said it, they piped in like some of the worst cheers I've ever heard of all time. There was a couple points in this where it was just like, oh my God, like they are overdoing it with the fake cheers here. Like that's like one thing from the Thunderdome that just has to go away. These piped in cheers. I'm just reading this over. I got to go back and edit a little bit of my grammar here because I was typing fast. But Becky Lynch comes out. She says, another thing Rousey says is that Rebecca is still on the undercard for her, and if she chooses Charlotte, then Rebecca will know that the biggest, baddest bitch, big time bitch is her. So it does seem like they're setting up for Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Which that's the match that we were supposed to get Survivor Series 2018. We never got it. I think she's here till next year's WrestleMania. So there's only 2 big matches for Ronda Rousey, and everything else is just, accoutrements, which is, it's Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. They could do Charlotte Flair at SummerSlam and then do a rematch of WrestleMania 35 with a triple threat next year at WrestleMania. Yeah. But I think we have to see the singles match with Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey. We just have to. Becky Lynch should not be a heel. People want to cheer her, and she's desperately trying to be a heel because she wants to have fun, but it doesn't make any sense. You have to do what's best for the show.
Yeah.
Steve Austin wanted to turn heel in 2001 because he wanted to, try something different and have some fun being a heel. But the consequence of that was they just, WWE lost their biggest star, and it crushed business. To a point that business has never recovered from Steve Austin. At least in fan enthusiasm, they've made more money than ever in the last couple of years. But fan enthusiasm never recovered from Steve Austin turning heel. People want to cheer Becky Lynch. I think it's ridiculous at this point. It's a Pyrrhic victory for her to stay a heel.
And I don't, this whole like black and white heel business.
Well, she's not even doing it well. Like, because people want to cheer her so badly, she just had all she can do is do the cheap heat. It's like, she had to like make the quip about Cincinnati again. Is that the best you can do?
Right.
Is that the best heel? That's the thing that you want to do that makes you have fun is just like, saying the town name every week and just trashing the town. That's stupid. That's simple heel stuff. That's not good heel work. That's not good heel work. So just make her a face again, have her face the heel Ronda Rousey and be done with it. The experiment's a total failure of having Becky Lynch be a heel.
You don't even need to do the hokey. Everyone equates hokiness with faces. You don't have to do that. You could still have an edge and be a face. You don't have to be like rah rah rah. I love the fans. Like, they're the best thing that's ever happened. Like
right.
No, you don't have to. You
just be Becky Lynch,
right?
Like whatever the fans think that is. They want to cheer it.
Yeah.
So make her so. Make it so.
Exactly. But I think in their own minds, they think they have to be a certain way when they're a face, and you don't.
Right. Ronda Rousey throws her down and says that she'll make her decision about WrestleMania on Friday on SmackDown. So Raw got Brock Lesnar making his decision. Friday night SmackDown gets Ronda Rousey making her decision. After that, Lita comes out and kind of goads Becky Lynch into a match in Saudi Arabia at the Elimination Chamber show. So if you ever want to see, Lita wrestle in a t-shirt and no makeup on, your dream is coming true very soon in the Saudi Death Jam. So Becky Lynch, I guess she has to stay heel for that because obviously she's facing a Hall of Famer and Lita's very popular. So she has to stay heel for that. But I think after that, you got to ditch the heel and just heel versus heel is not going to sell WrestleMania. No. And it's not going to make the match as good as it could be. Somebody's got to be the friggin' face here. And Ronda Rousey's not the face. I don't think she. I think she's legitimately doesn't want to be a face because I think she does have a chip on her shoulder about the fans. So, and she's not a good enough character to hide that.
She's not.
So no. She's not a good enough character to hide that. She's not experienced enough to, put the personal feelings aside. And part of the charm of Ronda Rousey is that she kept it very real throughout her whole entire first run. Like when the fans were super into her, she loved that. And she really, she was super moved by that. And then when they turned on her, she was super pissed. She can only keep it real on that front. So Becky Lynch has got to be the face. It's insane to not have her be the face. It's insane at this point.
Yeah.
So she's just got to get through the Saudi match with Lita, and then they got to find a way to get her face and quick. Because if you want to, if you're going to sell this match and have it main event one of those nights, got to do it. You just got to do it. So that's the show. Do you have anything you want to say further on the subject?
No.
Good. Okay. So I thought that there was just some awful crowd noise pumped into that Ronda Rousey promo, but it's, like I like that they did the cliffhanger for SmackDown. So that should help SmackDown. But overall, they didn't, there was a lot of people missing from tonight's show. Some matches went a little too long. There definitely some things seemed a little drawn out. It wasn't bad. This was not a bad Raw, but as the follow up to the Royal Rumble, it was lacking. I don't know.
I wish
it was just lacking some excitement.
I wish there was a middle button for this one.
Can't do a middle button. You gotta make the decision.
I am gonna make the decision. Right. I'm just saying. So I wish there was.
I got you. So everybody in the chat, let us know what you think. You want it to be a thumbs up or thumbs down on this show. Victoria, you're gonna have to make your decision now. What did you
I already made a decision. I'm giving it a thumbs up, but it's a very low thumbs up.
It's a tepid thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything you really liked from the show, or like?
I really liked the opening segment. I mean, that was just a seller for me. And honestly, Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley just really enjoyed their interaction with each other. It was a good way to hook you.
Yeah,
it was a good hook.
I didn't like the I didn't like the Ronda Rousey segment. The more I think about it, I just didn't really like it. I didn't like the crowd noise that they pumped in there. I didn't like the lines they gave her. I didn't like the hokey arm throw that she did to Becky Lynch. I didn't like. I wasn't really impressed by the Lita return. It didn't really get me excited.
Mm-hmm.
But the other things did deliver.
Yeah,
the Elimination Chamber match, every Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Austin Theory and Kevin Owens was great. Riddle versus Otis was great.
That was my favorite one.
AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio was really, really great. But I actually, Austin Theory versus Kevin was my favorite one. And that opening segment with Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley
you can't
was
beat it.
Just fantastic. So I give the show a thumbs up. Let's see. Overall thumbs up, slightly, but up from Erskine. We got Daniel Shell says thumbs up for living life like Brock Lesnar. Slightly up from Billy Hefner. Timid thumbs up from Quentin. Tepid thumbs up. This show thumbs up from Andrew Elder. Enjoyed your recap. Glad I follow you on Twitter. I hope to join you more often. Thank you very much, Erskine. We hope to have you come back again. It was great to have you here. It's not an overwhelming show, but a thumbs up from Mashun Walls. I think that's a good way to put it. Brett Farmer says Bully Ray, my favorite guy on earth, said that he had a non-wrestling fan watch the Rumble with him. First wrestling pay-per-view ever. Had no clue if he should cheer or boo Becky. That this was the casual audience WWE is supposedly catering to. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. Yeah, because you want to cheer her. I think that's just a natural instinct.
Yeah,
I kind of there's something even as a trying to be a heel. There's something still kind of likable about her. I don't know why, but it just is.
Because she's cute and adorable.
Hey, Trevor Mishke's here. What the hell? I'll go thumbs up.
Why not?
I'm going to give it a thumbs up too, because they're, the chamber qualifying match in that opening segment was really good. I didn't like the final segment, but that's okay. I can live with that. There was, still good enough stuff on there. Quentin Walters gives us a whole bunch of thumbs up on the post show. Thank you very much, Quentin. We appreciate that. All right. Well, we're going to end this show. The Rumble post show is we're going a little long here, so we're gonna wrap this thing up. I think we talked a lot about the news, surrounding fallout from Rumble.
Yeah, I mean it's a fallout from Rumble. I think it's going to be a little bit longer.
Absolutely,
and we talk about
but it's fun. We had some good conversations tonight. We had really, really lively and good chat here.
Thumbs middle finger.
How can you do a thumb as a middle finger? I guess you could do
you got to go like that.
Yeah.
See?
There you go.
We did not flip anything off, please.
I can't get it.
I know how to do it.
You have a really long thumb. The flagship of Wrestleview Post-Raw show. I agree with that. But Roy Nemmer will be back on Friday covering Ronda Rousey's decision on the post-SmackDown show. And
don't want to miss out.
And we'll be back next week for Wrestleview Post-Raw number 148. Until then, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. I'm Mike Tedesco.
I'm Victoria Tedesco, and have a good week, everybody.
Have a good week, everybody, and stay warm if you're on the East Coast. It's freezing. My God, it's cold. Ciao.